Hello, guys. This is ALV Construction, and my name is Jose Moreno.
And I am Aldair Martinez.
And Luis Cortez.
And we're going to present to you guys what we brought up for our $300 challenge.
So some of the responsibilities that Luis had was being the designer for the $300 house challenge. He was also the structural, foundational, and architectural designer. He was deciding how and where the material was going to be used, and he was trying to do the design so that there was little to no excess material that will be going to waste. He also had to make sure that all the dimensions were correct so that the building was structurally safe and fond for whatever use they were going to be using it for. And he had to make sure that it was weather tight and insulated correctly, and assuring that all the pallets were put together efficiently.
So my responsibilities was to make sure our objects were the cheapest but also the best. I also had to look over pricing just to make sure the pricing was the lowest we can get it at. And then in the end I calculated how much was the cost just to make sure it was under the budget. One of our goals as a group was to make sure that the tiny house was gonna be as well comfortable as well as structurally suited for what he was gonna live there too.
So some of my responsibilities were to manage the project and make sure that all parties were in accordance with the design and within the budget that our team was challenged with. I helped with the conceptual designs of what our $300 house was going to look like, and I also helped the estimator calculate to try and stay in budget to satisfy the challenge's budget demand. As the team's captain, I made sure that the materials we were researching were in line with the materials our designer was using in his sketches and designs. And for that, we had to make sure that the materials that we were using were inside the program that we used, which in this case was SketchUp. And one of the harder things, we were trying to find the pallets, and that was probably our biggest challenge, trying to find that inside the SketchUp library. Another responsibility I had was brainstorming and decision making. So a lot of this had to do with the beginning of how our design was going to look like and what materials we were going to use. We put a lot of thought into it, and there was a lot of penny pinching.
Some of the summary of the work. This is not how our design looked in the beginning. At first, we were going to go with the traditional lightwood frame, but we decided it was going to be too expensive, so we decided to go somewhere else. Instead, we went with pallets, which is a pretty sustainable and strong concept. The pallet will come from donations at stores, as there is a vast amount of pallets left over for shipments to big name stores and small companies. Another thing that we changed was the door. We decided to make our own door out of plywood and 2x4s, which would reduce the cost by about $30.
So the exterior of the design is going to be covered with OSB boards, which are fairly cheap. And then for the interior walls, we will be utilizing foam boards, which will also provide insulation. So what we wanted to do there was get a 2-for-1. We didn't want to get insulation and also have to get drywall. So what we did was we looked for another alternative that ended up being around the same price of what the OSB board would cost, so it was fairly cheap. The top of the roof is going to be covered with OSB and corrugated sheet metal to waterproof it. Our windows will be made out of plexiglass. As you can see, the windows will be about 8 feet tall and 1 foot wide. This will allow natural light to come into the building, whether it be from the east side of the house or the north side of the house, and then it will actually give the tenants a very good scenic view of what's around them, whatever that may be. And yeah, we thought that would be very nice detail.
So as far as the cost breakdown, we started with the interior walls. We included installation, make sure it was going to be warm at night, and in the day it wouldn't be like too freezing. Then we went to the exterior walls where we that's where we added the OSB. We later went to the utilities. We added a solar lantern, make sure there's light in the room, as well as a 5-gallon water, like plastic jug, you can say, with the pump. Then we went ahead. We went to the roof. We added again another OSB 4x8. Then on top of that, we added the congregated roof steel metal for the framing. We got pallets, door hinges,
And then lumber.
4x8, some lumber, more OSB, doorknob. And for the last part of the base, we got some pallets for the base. Then we put some OSB on top of that, and for the floor we found some laminate. Total cost coming down to $288 with 36 cents, which is below our $300 budget. And yeah, this was the breakdown.
All right, so for the reflection and the influence of the Poverello visit, there were many things that inspired us in our decision and construction of the $300 house challenge. We wanted to keep the design simple, and in a way where simple is not only better because it's cheaper and it would be easier for the people to adapt to. So giving people just the basic needs and a comfortable place to stay in is something that should be prioritized in the design and building phases. You do not want something that is elaborate and difficult to build. At times these are the more expensive projects. So what we wanted to do was make sure that the project that we were doing was going to be cheap and also very efficient in what we wanted it to be. Some of the storages or house shelters that we saw were very efficient in what they did. I think the people there were very happy with their homes. You know, a lot of people in the streets don't have nowhere to sleep, and I'm pretty sure that they appreciate people like us trying to find a way to make it more efficient for the city to provide more houses for people in the streets. And that's about it.